Welcome back to our science corner. Okay, today we're going to do lesson 2. How do species change? We're going to start on page 170 in our packet. Parents in every species pass traits to their offspring. Traits of species may change and may help the species survive. Inheriting DNA. Small changes occur in ecosystems over many years. Some of these changes happen because offspring are not exactly like their parents. So think about yourself and then think about your parents. Are you exactly the same? No. You may look like them, but your personality is different. You may have different eye colors or different hair colors. So this all has to do with what you inherit from your parents, the DNA. The same thing is true with animals. Remember, heredity is the process in which plants and animals receive or inherit half of the genes from each parent. The genes determine almost everything about how the organism grows. Since every animal inherits a new mix of genes from its parent, every animal is different. This kind of small change from parents to offspring usually is neither helpful nor harmful to the ecosystem. Different combinations of DNA may cause offspring to be different from their parents in many ways. Some offspring may be taller than their parents. Some may have different colored eyes. However, most things will be the same. The dog shown on the page has the same organ systems as its parents. It has the same number of legs and placement of eyes. The dog's body has thick fur like its parents, though the color may be different. Picture up in the corner says different genes result in different colors of fur and eyes. This dog inherited a set of genes that gave it blue eyes and brown fur. So if you've ever had a dog that had puppies, sometimes the puppies are the same color as the mom and dad, sometimes they're different colors. And that all has to do with genes and inheriting the different traits. Let's turn to page 171. Traits that are not inherited. Differences among organisms of the same species are not all due to different DNA. The ecosystem can affect how plants and animals grow. Genes determine how big an organism can grow, or the environment also plays a role. Organisms may not grow well if there is not enough food and water, or if the weather is very hot or very cold. The ecosystem can also affect an organism's color. The American flamingo is not born with its bright colors. These flamingos are born with white feathers. The birds are pink or reddish feathers only after eating certain foods such as shrimp or other small crustaceans and algae. A hydrangea is a plant that may have flowers of different colors depending on what is in the soil. The flowers can be red, pink, or blue. With many plants, too much sunlight can cause damage that results in leaves turning colors from green to yellow or brown. So without the diet of crustaceans and algae, the flamingo is actually a white bird. Now that's funny to us because we've always seen flamingos in bright, bright pink, but that's interesting how their diet affects what color they are. We're on page 172, adaptations. Sometimes a change or mutation happens in an organism's genes. The changed gene can pass from a parent to the offspring. Mutations may be harmful, helpful, or neutral. Mutations are often harmful. For example, a mutation may cause an animal to no longer have the correct genes to make white blood cells that fight germs. A helpful mutation can be the first step towards an adaptation. Adaptations make an organism fit an ecosystem better. Colors that help an animal hide are adaptations. Adaptations are especially important when an ecosystem changes. At such times, competition for limited food, water, or other resources is the strongest. Organisms that have the best adaptations to compete for the limited resources may survive, reproduce more, and pass their genes to their offspring. Okay, so this little frog over here. This frog can better avoid its enemies because of structural adaptations, such as the suction cups on its toes and its green skin. So you can see many adaptations help animals to survive. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about the animals you know and think about any adaptations that might be helpful to them. So I'll give you a minute to think. All right, so I hope you came up with some good adaptations that some animals have that you are familiar with. One I think about is the snow hare that lives in the Arctic, where it changes its fur with the seasons to blend in with the snow to hide from predators. Our next section, structural adaptations. Helpful mutations or some new combinations of DNA may cause changes in body parts. Structural adaptations are changed body parts that help the organism survive in its ecosystem. For example, if a hummingbird was born with a longer beak than other hummingbirds, that bird might be better at getting food from some flowers in its ecosystem. The longer beak is a structural adaptation that is helpful when living around these flowers. During a drought, this bird may survive when many other birds cannot find enough food. The bird might pass the gene from this adaptation to its offspring. After many generations, a large part of the hummingbird population may have this kind of long beak and survive better than other hummingbirds. Natural selection involves the process of a species developing adaptations. All species of living things may experience natural selection. Natural selection helps them survive in different niches and environments. So adaptations can change over time with the ecosystem to help them adapt to their surroundings and what's going on at the time that they're alive. Just like the hummingbird had, if there was a drought, that long beak would help them get deeper into the flower to find better food. Okay, behavioral adaptations. We are born knowing how to build a house. I'm sorry, let me try that again. Were you born knowing how to build a house? That is impossible. Hummingbirds, though, like other birds, are born knowing how to make the kind of home they need. They are also born knowing how to take care of their offspring. These behaviors are due to genes passed from parents to offspring. Turn to page 173. Behavioral adaptations are inherited behaviors that help animals survive. Some behavioral adaptations are called instinct. They affect how an animal behaves around other animals of the same species or different species. Lemmings are small rodents that have an instinct to migrate if their population in an area gets too large. Some animals, like musk oxen, have an instinct to form a circle around their young when predators threaten them. Not all behaviors of an animal are due to behavioral adaptations. Some behaviors are learned. For example, lion parents teach their offspring how to hunt. A lion cub stays with its mother for 2 or 3 years until it can hunt on its own. The way that a hummingbird makes a nest is a behavioral adaptation. Legs that can tuck close to the body make it easier for the hummingbird to fly. This is a structural adaptation. So behavioral adaptations are things that help animals survive. And many times they are instinct, but just like the lions, we have to be taught things. Imagine if you were only with your parents 2 or 3 years before you did things on your own. That would be very interesting. But I'm glad that, as humans, we get to stay with our parents longer so that we can learn. Right. Lesson checkpoint. So lesson 2 checkpoint, I would like you to answer question number 1. How are behavioral adaptations like structural adaptations? How are they different? Okay, so we just read about behavioral adaptations on page 173. So you can find that information right up here. And then we talked about the behavioral adaptations on the bottom of page 172. So the question is asking you to compare and contrast them. Tell me, how are they alike? And how are they different? So there's 2 questions there. So please make sure you answer both how the structural and behavioral adaptations are alike and how they are different. And if you have any questions or need some help, please email Ms. Johnson and I will get back to you very quickly. Okay, have a great day.